it was a young man who, he wanted to make a lot of money, and so he went to this guru, right? And he told the guru, I want to be on the same level you're on. And so the guru said, if you want to be on the same level I'm on, I'll meet you tomorrow at the beach. So the young man got there at 4 a.m. He all ready to rock and roll, got on the suit, should have wore shorts. The old man grabs his hand and said, how bad do you want to be successful? He said, real bad. He said, walk on out in the water. So he walks out into the water. Watch this. When he walks out into the water, it goes waist deep. So he like, this guy crazy. Adrian, like, I want to make money. He got me out here swimming. I didn't ask to be a lifeguard. I want to make money. He got me in. So he said, come out a little further, walked out a little further. Then he had it right around this area, the shoulder area. So this old man crazy. He's making money, but he crazy. He said, come on out a little further. He came out a little further. It was right at his mouth. My man like, I'm about to go back in here. This guy is mine. So the old man said, I thought you said you wanted to be successful. He said, I do. He said, walk a little further. He came, dropped his head in, held him down, hold him down. My man getting scratching, holding him down. He had him held down. Just before my man was about to pass out, he raised him up. He said, I got a question for you. He told the guy, he said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. I don't know how many of y'all got asthma in here today, but if you ever had an asthma attack before, you short of breath, SOB, shortness of breath, you wheezing. The only thing you trying to do is get some air. You don't care about no basketball game. You don't care what's on TV. You don't care about nobody calling you. You don't care about a party. The only thing you care about when you're trying to breathe is to get some fresh air. That's it. And when you get to the point where all you want to do is be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. And I'm here to tell you, number one, that most of you say you want to be successful, but you don't want it bad. You just kind of want it. You don't want it badder than you want to party. You don't want it as much as you want to be cool. Most of you don't want success as much as you want to sleep. Some of you love sleep more than you love success. And I'm here to tell you today, if you're going to be successful, you got to be willing to give up sleep. You got to be willing to work off for 3 hours of sleep, 2 hours. If you really want to be successful, some days you're going to have to stay up 3 days in a row. Because if you go to sleep, you might miss the opportunity to be successful. That's how bad you got to want it. You got to go days without, listen to me, you got to want to be successful so bad that you forget to eat. Beyonce said once she was on the set doing her thing, 3 days had gone by, she forgot she didn't eat. Because she was engaged. I never forget when 50 Cent was doing his movie, I did a little research on 50, and 50 said that when he wasn't doing the movie, he was doing the soundtrack. And they said, when do you sleep, 50? Sleep. He said, sleep. Sleep is for those people who are broke. I don't sleep. He said, I got an opportunity to make a dream become a reality. Don't cry to quit. You already in pain, you already hurt. Get a reward from it. Don't go to sleep until you succeed. Listen to me. I'm here to tell you today that you can come here, you can jump up, you can do flips, you can be excited when we give away money. But listen to me, you'll never be successful until I don't have to give you a dime to do what you do. You won't be successful until you say, I don't need that money, because I got it in here.
Marinate on that. They got us in here in the way locker room. We've been staying over there. Chicken. We're moving. Let's go. Y'all better be ready to play. Let's go, baby. We in B-Town ever since we came out here. So we for real, man. We play for this. It's our country. This our sport. Man, I'm on my dog, man. We're ready to play. I'm going out there and bust them. I'm gonna bust them, talk and bust them more. And then after that, I'm gonna bust them again. They're gonna keep getting up. They gonna keep knocking me down. And I'm gonna get back out. So we're ready to play, man. I die for my country. I die for all y'all. I die for my family. All the men who watch me.
There's not a person on my team in 16 years that has consistently beat me to the ball every play. That ain't got nothing to do with talent. That's just got everything to do with effort. Nothing else. 15 straight years. 12 Pro Bowls later, if you want numbers. I done saw all of it. And the only thing that's kept me around is my effort. So when you put on this, all I ever knew, because I wasn't a number one recruit, I wasn't a number one linebacker, I wasn't even in the media guy. All I ever knew was effort will get me seen on tape. Effort will get me noticed to get to the league. Effort would one day take care of my mom and my kids. Effort, which is between you and you. Nobody else can give you effort. Effort is with inside, man. And I'm still grinding because the next kid is talking about he getting too old. Keep watching me if I ain't. Nobody ain't got to convince me of what I do. I do what I do because I do what I do, because I'm built from something. And man didn't create it. Every one of you men in here have that opportunity, man. But ask yourself the question personally, how much time you really wasting? For real. Or do you really represent this? I represent it because it's all I have. It's the only brotherhood I ever been formed to. That's why when I see y'all perform on Saturdays, that is my peace. That's why I run to the hotels. I don't need to talk to nobody before my games. I just need to see what I once came from. I sat in these same chairs you guys sat in, man. I sat around the greatest athletes in the world. And then I found myself totally different because everybody was asking the question, who is this kid? Oh, pissed off again. Another thing added to the chalkboard. I'm not asking nobody in here for nothing today. I'm not. I'm just sharing my story to tell y'all, every time you think somebody got it good, man, it ain't always good. Some people just make up their mind and they just grind and say the heck with it, man. Because sometimes that's all you can do. How much of our brains are we really gonna use? I use mine to tell somebody today, September 11th, when I step on the field against the Pittsburgh Steelers, if that's what God will is, there's no other man out there willing to give up what I'm willing to give up. I said that in 1993, when I said I wanted to be the greatest Hurricane, and the only thing that I got in the middle of all of that distance is the only thing that Father's work is results. There's no other blueprint. I ain't got no other secrets to tell y'all today. I ain't come here for nothing else but to tell you, if you want to do something, work at it. You want a better relationship with God? Work at it. You want to understand why pulling your pants up is important, why yes ma'am and no ma'am is important, why being in the meeting with complete silence when somebody walks in, because it's presence and essence that determines respect. That's all we talking about. The power of respect is never to disrespect. That's why I was the first one sitting down in the meeting. I ain't got nothing to say. Y'all do y'all, I'm good. I got to listen. Something out there I need to grab from it. Sitting on the same football field as you, 1993. And I made a quote that some people call controversy, I call it confidence. I said that I might be the greatest player to ever walk up out of the University of Miami. I did not say that because I thought I was better than everybody else. I said that simply because I was willing to put in the work to now be back here 18 years later and tell you the only brotherhood I still have sits on my chest in a shirt form where the eye of that real hurricane is found in my heart. This is where it all came from. Same path y'all walk, same calves y'all going, same green tree y'all walking up and down. I had one pair of jeans in college for at least 2 years. At least 2 years. The question is, what are you going to do with your time? What drives you? Like, for real. I ain't got much more to say. Because I feel home. And when you're home, ain't much to say. Our work spoke for itself. That's where our swagger came from. Our swagger came from, we worked as a unit. When I came to the University of Miami, there was one mind, one set, one heartbeat. It was impossible to get to us. Because if you saw us somewhere, you saw 15 or 20 of us. Gotta stop leaving each other. Gotta stop hanging out without each other. The streets ain't chasing the same things you chasing. There's many temptations out there. Just stay focused, man. As a team, though. As a team. That's all I knew when I was here. That's what kind of kept me focused. That I finally ran into a team. And you guys have that same thing. Because it's you will never die. It'll never die. So it's up to you to carry that. It's up to you to carry that. And every Sunday, every Saturday, everything is talked about. I mean, listen, we're going to respect a lot of colleges. But there's one college that everybody wants to talk about every Saturday. What did UM do? What did UM do? That's all everybody want to talk about. We can be having the biggest game in the world. UM won yesterday. Know what you carry. When you carry this U on your chest. Know what you carry, man. You carry a legacy. Legacy of greatness. And greatness is a lot of small things done well. Day after day, workout after workout, obedience after obedience, day after day. 18 years later, I'm here to say, hurricanes, we're the only thing people respect the most. Because it's something about us that makes us special.
Listen to me. Pain is temporary. It may last for a minute, or an hour, or a day, or even a year. But eventually, it will subside. And something else will take its place. If I quit, however, it will last forever. Y'all spoiled. Some of y'all spoiled. Just bottom line. Your parents have done everything for you. You never had to do nothing for yourself. You're spoiled. We're going to keep it real tonight. Some of you are spoiled brats. Every time you ever got in trouble, somebody in your house got you out of it. Every time you've done something you're not supposed to do, people say, Eric, your mother's a tyrant. You're right. She kicked me out. You're right. She's mean, but she developed a man because she put me out there and said, you're going to have to grow up. And some of you have never learned to grow up. And so every time something get hard, you quit, you call mama. I dare you to take a little pain. I dare you. I dare you not to go home. Somebody said, I gotta go home, I feel bad. Go through it. You ain't gonna die. At the end of pain is success. You're not gonna die because you're feeling a little pain. I'm not eating like I eat at home. That's why you're about to go to the next level, because if you keep eating like you ate at home, you'll keep being a boy or a girl. It's time to become man, woman. But I'm exactly where I wanted to be because I realized I gotta commit my very being to this thing. I gotta breathe it, I gotta eat it, I gotta sleep it. And until you get there, you'll never be successful in life. But once you get there, I guarantee you, the world is yours. So work hard and you can have whatever it is you want. I need you to, this is the final one, I need you to be driven. I need to be driven. Because somebody said they were bored, and I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you. You're bored. I'm feeling you. I got a 3.5 after I got kicked out of college when I came back 3 years later. And people say, how did you get a 3.5? I got a 3.5 when I came back to college after getting kicked out because I had my first child. And when I came back to school, I wasn't going to school for school. I was going to school for my boy. My granddaddy was a high school dropout, my daddy, and I was a high school dropout. And I figured that if I at least graduated from college, that he would have to graduate from high school. I would be an example. So when I came back with a vengeance. I was driven by a purpose. I'm telling you, you'll never be what you're supposed to be. You'll never have what you're supposed to have. You'll never ball out until you got a purpose for why you do what you do. The people who blew up, they blew up because there was something that was going wrong in their life, and they took that pain and they turned that pain into something. You will never, ever go to class, and you guys are spoiled. Do you know what it's like to go to class in Michigan in December? It's 10 inches of snow and they don't close the school, and it's minus 10 degrees and you still got to go up and go to class? How do you go to class when it's 10 degrees and 12 inches of snow? You know how you do it? Because you know your mama broke and she working 2 jobs and taking out a loan for you to go to school. I laugh at kids whose parents are broke and they up there partying like everybody else. Your mama broke. You went to school, listen to me, some kids when they go to school, they just going to school to keep the legacy alive. Their mama already got money. Some of us, we taking out loans to help we taking out loans and sitting at home so people can pay rent. That money ain't even going to college. And we still going to parties. We still clubbing. Listen to me, nothing against fraternities. But I've had students. One dude had a 3.2 GPA and got in the fraternity his freshman year, and it went down to like a 1-something. I'm saying, what kind of brotherhood is that? When you got my man up at 2 o'clock in the morning washing your car and going to get you groceries when you should be helping this kid to study. Now he can't get in the College of Business, but he got Greek letters. He didn't come to school to get Greek letters. That's a bonus. He came to school to get a degree, because if you walk out of here without a degree, you came up short. So you got to be driven. I'm driven, y'all. I get up every Monday and do TGIM. I drive home, get back to the airport, 1.5 hour drive, back and forth almost every single day, because I'm driven. I want my son to have a better life than I had. I don't want my son begging like I had to beg. I don't want my son to ever think he got to sell dope or he got to steal from the mall. I'm driven. I want my daughter to know what it's like to have. I'm driven. I'm driven. When I was at the Michael Jordan Classic the other day and I opened up that whole conference, people like, E, you speaking at the Michael Jordan Classic. How do you feel, bro? You made it. I said, I'm hungrier than I've ever been before. Now I want to speak to the Pistons, the Knicks, the Boston Celtics. I'm driven now. I'm hungrier than I've ever been before. Why? Because I tasted it now. I tasted it. I messed up. In my book bag, I got the first check I ever got from Nike. I used to buy Nikes, and I got a check with my name on it. I ain't even put it in the bank, because I want you to see it. I'm driven. When I got that first check from Nike, I was like, ooh, I'm on the payroll. That means I can get another check. And the next check I got was double that check. I'm driven. What drives you? Because you ain't going to go to class just to go to class to hear somebody teach. You got to go to class with a purpose and say, I don't care if he's boring or not. I got to get through him, and I got to get through that class, and I got to get through that boring stuff so I can get to where I'm trying to get to. If it takes a boring biology class, then I'm taking biology. If I got to go through calculus to make my family get to a level they've never been through, calculus, watch your back. Because your boy is coming. PhD is hard, bro, but I'm about to finish up. I got one little part left. I'm about to finish up. Why? Because I want it as bad as I want to breathe. You got to be driven. What are you driven by? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. had a PhD at 26, and he was willing to give his life. Why? Because he cared more about the freedom of women and the freedom of minorities than he cared about anything else. Listen to me, he had a PhD at 26. He had a job. He didn't have to get involved in the struggle, but he was willing to make that sacrifice. And he said it. He said it in his speech. Longevity
has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And he's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
And so I need you to do me a huge favor, all right? So we're going to start here. When I was young, and a lot of you, it's a disease, and we're going to fix it tonight. When you're young, you got 14, you got 15, you got 16, you got 17, and what happens when you're young, time is real slow. You can't wait when you're 15. Like, my daughter's 14, just turned 14 in March. And people ask her, how old are you? She said, I'm going to be 15. I'm like, you just turned 14 in March. I'm like, boo, let's do the math. Like, March 6th, you got April, you're not even into May, and you already off into 15. Listen to me, you are 14. And when you're young, you go with the 14 and a half, 14 and 3/4, and then you 15. Now, when you get my age, you start, forget on purpose, right? Somebody asked me the other day how old I was. I'm like, I'm 40. I hadn't been 40 in a year, right? I'm still holding on. I'm like, I'm 40. And then while I was saying, I was like, you just lied. You're not 40, you're 41, right? And so when you're young, you got a lot of time, and you feel like, time is on my side, and I just want to encourage you. Listen to me closely. When you turn 21, when I turned 21, I woke up the next day and I was 25. Like, you young, and you like, he tripping. What is he saying? If I had any adults that's my age, they know what I'm talking about. And then you go from 25, you wake up 30. And you didn't get no birthdays, nothing happened. 25, like, I'm being honest with you. Now, look around at some grown folk, they doing like this. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. And so then you go 25, 30, and then you wake up and you like 40. And you like, what happened? My son's about to be a senior in high school. I'm tripping. I just had a little man. We were just traveling across the country together. Now, my man's 6'2", looking down at me, but I let him know, you got height, but I will knock you out if you try to. Your little height don't mean nothing to me. So watch this, very close. You got to hear what I'm saying, because once you understand how valuable time is, once you understand, now I'm 40 years old. I don't know if you caught that, but unfortunately, the next thing is 50. That's it. And then 50, my grandfather told me, he said, son, once you turn 50, it's like downhill from there. He you running 6-7 miles a day. You will not be doing that at 65, right? And so this is sense of urgency that I got. I might not only have 10 left, 10 good, strong years. I don't know what's going on. Granddaddy scared me with the 50. Right? So you hear me say on my video, I'm talking about opportunity. Listen to me. Sleep is the new broke, because what happens is, if you only have 24 hours. All right, I got to say this. I got to take my time because I want to make sure you get this. If you only have 24 hours in a day, your success is dependent upon how you use the 24. You got gotta hear me. People talk about Oprah Winfrey, you know, Ted Turner, Warren Buffett. Listen to me. I don't care how much money you make. You only get 24 hours in a day. And the difference between Oprah and the person that's broke is Oprah uses her 24 hours wisely. That's it. Listen to me. That's it. You get 24. I don't care if you broke, you grew up broke. I don't care if you grew up rich. I don't care if you're in college, you're not in college. You only get 24 hours. And I blew up literally. I went from being a high school dropout to selling 6,000 books in less than 6 months. What happened? My 24 hours. I was like, okay, Eric, you got to get a grip on your 24 hours because you're about to be broke for the rest of your life. And this is all I need you to do for me. I can tell you all about your life if you just write down your 24-hour schedule for me and you let me look at it. I can tell you where you're going to be in 5 years. I can tell you where you're going to be in 10 years. I can tell you where you're going to be in 20 years if you keep that schedule. So I just want to show you something. When I was broke, if you look at my schedule, you'll see that I woke up whenever I felt like waking up. That's what you'll see first. Now, I told you before, if you watch my videos, I studied the top millionaires in the world, and I discovered that they all wake up at 3:30 in the morning. You say, Eric, how did you find that out? Because they were all talking about the 3 o'clock news. I didn't even know news came on that early. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna keep it real, like for real, be honest. You have been up and you watched the 3:30 a.m. news. Raise your hand. You watched that. I know, yeah. A couple of y'all lying, but it's okay. You feel me? You trying to be like, I watched it. You know you ain't been up until 3:30 in the morning watching no news, right? Right? But watch this, 3:30. I started thinking, and I'm like, wow, if they're getting up at 3:30, and everybody else is getting up at 8 and 8:30, the reason why they're successful is not because they're smart, but the reason why they're successful is they just got a 5-hour jump on the world. And so I started first at 7 o'clock, and then I played a trick on life. I started getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then you know how the time changes? Well, I pretend like it was still the same time when it went back. And I started getting up at 6. And then the year after that, when the time went back again, I just pretend like it was the same time, and I started getting up at 5. And then the next year, I started getting up at 4, and now I get up at 3. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been getting up at 3 for 6 months, and it's getting bad now. Sometimes I'm getting up at 2:15, sometimes 1:45, and I'm starting to see everything in my life change. Why? Because I'm putting more time in, and guess what? If you get up at 2 and put in work, if you finish, you can take a nap. Because you're thinking like, where does he get some sleep?
Yeah. Sean Khalifa, man. My weed good. Fingernails clean now. I don't do nothing but peel money and touch this. Tell them go hard. Yup. That's what I'ma do. Yeah. Giuliano on the track. Taylor Gang is the family. Heavy hustle. Rush. Yeah. I work for everything I own. Daring to try takers. Taking 100 on the frames just for blocking out you haters. Swear they in my way, they in my rear view mirror. If a nigga act stupid, I'ma let him get his issues. Everything designer in my backseat's recline. I got a thing for living good and blowing money like it's tissue. But they can see you eating, get the starving for a plate when you don't give them when they hit. That's why my chicken eat the biscuit. It's no gimmick. I talk it how I live it. So when you're getting across the finish, gotta push it to the limit. Got a mom and little sister. I plan on taking care of. Lost my uncle this year. A couple again was in the system. So I roll. Don't tell them where I'm landing, but I know something that I'm going towards some money. I can see you getting like it every day. I'm on my job. Young Khalifa going hard till I'm the last man standing.
Cause I'ma go hard or I'ma go home. I ain't been there with no so long. So goodbye. I'm going home cause I'ma go hard or I'ma go home. I ain't been there with no so long.
Yeah.
So goodbye.
Yeah. Got my eyes on this money and some good weed burning. Where I'm from, you gotta grind. Going hard is not an option. now these niggas acting jealous cause they feel like they ain't shining and they little ish stop when it's big ish pops. Probably been fiend, gotta keep it in my system. About to sick gorillas cause I blow up by the onion. Pay a couple bills and some paper to my youngin' cause he just like Steve Francis. He be playing with them rockets, ripping on the wheel. Got my pedal to the metal, about to hit another city. Ain't no point in getting settled. Straight on to the plane, ain't been home in so long. Niggas think it's my cologne, that's money that you smell. I act like my father, can't stand my older brother. Got some chicken doing years cause of funny intelligence. So I'ma keep running till the day that I expire. Got me running through the barrels till I'm the last man standing.
Don't go home cause I'ma go hard. Go hard or I'ma go home. I ain't been there in no so long. Goodbye.